Okay, question 20, last question about Ask a Mentor, Ask Your Mentors series. We've done 20 questions, and I hope this has helped you guys. Obviously, we want you to go and take these questions and maybe ask some people who are close to you or your mentors and get different responses. But obviously, we thought it would be really cool if I answered these questions as well. And it's been really great to be able to go through this entire series of 20 questions. And we're going to keep this sort of stuff rolling. So please keep sending your questions in or your topics in. And this has been a really fun time and experience. So the last one is, what dreams and goals inspired you to succeed? Well, first of all, everyone's measure of success is completely different. I have to start there because that's super important. It's so important not to compare your success or what your measure of success is to someone else's measure of success. Sometimes that's completely unrealistic, and sometimes it shifts the focus off what you're actually trying to achieve and why you're doing that. I'm inspired to be as successful as possible because I want to live a really meaningful life. I want to be, I want to enjoy things. I want to, and I mean enjoy things, I mean like enjoy digging into problem solving and enjoy working things out. And to me, that is the motivating factor a lot of the times, is that, there's a problem and I think we can solve this thing. And, if we just all collaborate and do it, that's really cool. And if there's people out there who haven't worked with really great teams before, there's this really magical thing that happens. And so I've been able to see it in business and in music as well, and growing up and playing in bands. Often as a drummer, when I was drumming, the guitarist would look at me, and just by him looking at me, I would know that we were going to play like an extra 4 bars, or he was going to go into a solo, or I didn't know what it was, but I kind of always knew that he was going to do something, and we always knew it was going to be okay, and we could always do it. And there's this human thing that happens when that's all happening that's just unexplainable. It's just really, really cool. It's a great dynamic. So that inspires me to be a part of things and have really, a meaningful life by experiencing more and more of those sorts of things. The other thing is, obviously, I want my family to be well looked after. I mean, I want us to live an extraordinary life. And I don't mean an extraordinary life from, abundance of wealth or anything like that. It's just, there's just so much to see. And me growing up in another country and traveling extensively and then moving to the States, there's just going to be opportunities for our kids to be able to do some of those sorts of things because of citizenships and passports and all those magical things that happen. And so, I want us to be able to see and do and experience. And obviously some of that comes from having the means to be able to do that. But a lot of it actually comes from wanting to do that, and not necessarily wanting to do it in a certain fashion. It's about the experience itself. It's about taking the breath and looking at something wonderful. Thankfully, my wife and I definitely align on that. We love, experiencing things like that, experiencing the outdoors, having your breath taken away by nature is, it's incredible. And also seeing man-made structures and stuff like that. So we're definitely about that stuff and not about the stuff. So, they're sort of goals that inspire me. The other thing is, for whatever reason, I think it's an innately Australian thing, a really hard thing to describe. But I kind of have a chip on my shoulder, and it's not in a bad way. It's almost like I'm driven by spite. Like there's this thing that tells me constantly that I'm not supposed to be doing this. You don't, not necessarily you don't deserve to do it, but people like you aren't supposed to succeed. And I hit, especially when we move into some of the areas we moved into in business, I come across those walls all the time. And those sorts of things drive me more and more and more and more. And it's a healthy spite for me now, because I'm not doing something to prove it to someone else, but I'm doing it to prove it to myself. And I kind of enjoyed that. That's that part where I think earlier in one of these questions we talked about motivation. That's one of my driving factors of motivation. It's that I have to get up. I have to go on into work. I have to do the best I can every day. And I have to, because I'm requiring that of myself. more than anything. So they're all the things that kind of drive me to be as successful as possible. And the success for me stems back to what our family wants, what my family wants to experience in our lifetime. And setting those sorts of things for our kids to be able to have that sort of experience too. So they're the things that inspire me. I'm not really a goal setter because I don't have big goals. I kind of have day-to-day breakdowns of lists so that I am constantly achieving things. And I think that people who do have big goals, I think that's great. But more often than not, people who do that never achieve those goals because they just don't have a pathway to it. So if you do have a goal, a huge goal or a goal, make sure you break it down into kind of day-to-day steps to get there. And you'll always feel like you're achieving something. And you will actually always be moving forward and getting further along than you would have previously. So dreams and goals that inspire me to succeed. As I say, I don't think I'm finished for a long time yet.